recording now.
Okay.
All right, so you are now talking to students in Norway. So you can talk a bit about yourself. And today we're going to focus on discussing the American dream and what it means to you. But please explain to everyone who you are and how we met and all of that.
Hi. Well, my name is Scott Graham, and I met Pollyanna in, oh my gosh, in 1988, 89, something like that, right? And you were a foreign exchange student at my high school, and you were a singer, and I was always interested in that. And I always did music through school, and I still do it today. And what else? What direction should I go?
Tell me a little bit about how, after that time, after you graduated high school, what was your path through life and the different careers you explored and all of that?
Well, after high school, I went directly to the university to Sacramento State University, and I was a classical guitar major there. And so I was playing classical guitar and learning all music topic um, things and sang in the choir there as well. I didn't do that for very long because my parents split up, and so my money fell through, and so I wasn't able to continue. Um, so I went into personal training at a gym, and then I was still teaching because I started teaching guitar when I was still in high school. And so I was still teaching guitar, and then I was also a personal trainer, and I did that for about maybe 3 to 5 years. I did both of them, kind of bounce back and forth. And then I just went into the store where I took most of my music lessons and asked if I could teach there instead of teaching at home or at this other little place that I was at for a short time. And they let me in, and that was really the spot to be. And I'm actually sitting in that same place right now. And so even though I went in there in 94, I think, originally, and I was a teacher here for almost 11 years full time. Um, and then I opened my own studio down the street because there were so many other things that I wanted to do that I couldn't quite do out of this shop. The studios are small, so I can only, it's easy to do stringed instruments and vocals and piano and things like that, but I couldn't put full bands together. So I opened a studio down the street where I had big rehearsal rooms, and we would put bands together and put shows on and that sort of thing. And then when COVID hit a couple of years back, I was just getting ready to open a new recording facility in an even sweeter spot in town, and we weren't able to open fully because of all that. So I came back here, and I was lucky enough that they had the space for me, and I could jump back in here and do what I've kind of done all along. And as far as other jobs that I've done, I haven't done a whole lot besides music. I've really pushed myself to stay in it. I've always enjoyed teaching because I always got such a thrill out of learning myself and just know how kind of magical it can be to learn a new thing and be able to do it yourself, and then to see that in others at all ages, not just children, but I have students that are in their 60s and 70s and pick up a new instrument. And so I've always loved that. Um, Now I am a real estate agent just as of this last year, so that's my
All right, so
first
that's
new
really
thing.
interesting for them because there are different ways in which people do these things these days. I just saw that in Brazil, they just started doing the same format that they do in the US with having a picture of the realtor and doing like a more personalized version of what it is to be a realtor. Could you talk about that a little bit? Because I don't know if they would know so much about that. What
Yeah,
are the
so
steps that a person has to go into in order to do that?
okay. Well, for in California at least, you have to take it's like three different courses you can do all online. and they're pretty basic. Just learning all the rules, regulations, laws, and such. Take your tests, pass everything you need to. You have to pay, the courses don't cost a lot. Maybe in a couple $100 range, something like that. Um, then you have to have a broker that you work with, who is kind of the person who really runs all the paperwork and that sits above you. So I only tested in and became the real estate agent. So I'm just an agent. So now it gives me the ability to go out, show a house, sell a house, help buyers find a new home, that sort of thing. And so you're really, it's set up kind of like your own business, even though you run through a brokerage. Like my broker is Black Diamond Real Estate, but my own company is SPG California Homes. So that's where you see, okay, this is what I do. Here's my face. This is the kind of stuff I'm doing, and that's really the model out here. Is you're trying to get people to connect with you and recognize that you're in that business and you're constantly out there in the middle of it doing it, just kind of like how I've done with music. I've always been just kind of smack in the middle of it. And so when people think, oh, guitars or whatever, a lot of them will think of me just because I've been in their face for so many years. So I think it's a similar type of thing. So it's going to take me some time to get it rolling, really. I have uh, a lot of friends that are in it and have been in it for years and years, and they've been helping kind of mentor me through the because it was all pretty foreign to me. Um, at least the real estate sales agent part of it. I know the building part. My father's a general contractor and built custom homes, so I know that end of it, but learning the sales part of it has been different. So but I really enjoy it so far. It's been really fun because it's really similar to what I do already. I'm just making friends constantly, and then when they have questions regarding real estate, I'm here and I'm available, and so it's a pretty cool process.
Excellent. So I want
Yeah.
you to tell us about the American Dream, and take I'm gonna show them our yearbook from when. Okay, where are you? There you were. There you were. So you were voted most musical in 1990 when we graduated, and you were able to take that your dream and make it come true to where you were able to go on with that, whereas in other parts of the world people might not be able to, they might have to give that up to go and do something else. Can you tell me
Right.
what your concept of the American dream is and how you feel that you achieved that in life?
Well, I mean, it's the American dream is just, to me anyway, it's just to be able to go after what you really desire, what you feel you're best at, and where you can be the most effective and get the best at that trait or whatever it is that you can, so that you can um I think just to be the best at whatever it is that you feel you should be doing, and then let that grow or allow that to grow. And um so there's a saying that is that do what you love and the money will follow. You've heard that, right? And I think that's true to an extent. So I mean, I had to learn an awful lot, and there's a lot of different paths to go with the music. um so not just I had to do quite a few different things. I didn't just go, oh, I just play guitar and that's it. um but I go perform, I write songs, I play a number of different instruments so that I could fill in for other instruments for shows and things. So over time I was able to uh, piece together enough to get by, till my teaching has really been the core of it, and so I've always I found early on that that's where it was really going to be the most solid position for me. And then as a teacher, a music teacher, you're able to easily kind of stem out and do performances or help different artists with certain projects, things like that. But you have that kind of home base where you have a consistent flow of students coming in. Um, so that's been really good. And it's here. I'm not an employee of the store. We're all independent contractors. So I essentially am renting the room. They have to allow you to, join the team sort of, but we run our own businesses, which is, I think, a big part of what I think is the kind of part of the American dream is that I don't have to just go and apply and follow certain protocols and then just do that thing, that I can create it however I want. And like what I do in this room compared to the other 7 rooms in here is very different. We're all very different on how we approach it, um, and the things that we teach and the methods that we use to do so. And I think that's been the biggest thing for me, because I've always had trouble kind of falling in line, with the, and I know it's got to be such a challenge at places where that's not an option um, to branch out like that. And I did get a lot of pushback from early on, from parents and other people's parents and things like that. Maybe you should give this music thing up and go to work at Intel, or maybe you should do this, or maybe you should do that. Like, sure, that's cool, but I'll be miserable, and I'm not really serving anybody that way. So I felt like I could always do the most with what I'm good at in a place like this, and I could affect the most people in a positive way, it, because I'm in a positive place and I put myself here, and so positivity grows positivity. So,
Yes, absolutely.
right.
Absolutely. I feel that this is the one of the things that when a lot of the kids here in Norway from very early on were exposed to a lot of American TV, American shows, American music, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of I had the other day one of my students say to me, I rarely ever watch anything on TV that's in Norwegian. I watch all the content that I watch is in English and I never sing any songs in Norwegian. Everything is
Oh.
in English. So they're very interested in that, and they have a vision for what the United States is that's based off of what they see on television. One of the
Mm-hmm.
things that people ask me when I say, well, I lived in Florida and in Virginia as a child, but when I went to finish high school, I went to California. And people think, wow, so can you tell me about California? Why is there this notion that California is almost a state apart? It's almost like a country in
it
itself.
it might as well be. It's really quite different. And I honestly haven't spent much time in other states. I've only kind of gone outside the edges, into Nevada and Oregon. Um, and even when you get to the outskirts, even very north into California, people are very different that far. It's a huge state. Um, but California is really different. I mean, all of Hollywood is not just Hollywood. It's widespread, and so there's that mentality kind of everywhere. Whether I'm near Sacramento now in Folsom, but if I'm spending time down in Los Angeles, it's all about the same. Where it's just it's pretty crazy actually. I don't know exactly because I know if you step outside of it and come back to it, it's probably pretty mind-boggling. It's like,
I have heard things like, for example, well, I don't think this will do really well here where we are when people are in different states, but you should try doing that in California, where people are more open-minded and they're into
Yeah.
things that are different. And then you mentioned Hollywood, and that is a big part of it. No, but I remember when I went to study at Oak Ridge,
Uh-huh.
that as soon as I was very happy to go there and everything, but people kept saying to me, Pollyanna, this isn't really California. This is a part of it, but there's more to it. And that's what you're talking about going different to different parts of
Yeah.
California and seeing different things. And
Right.
did you ever feel like oh, maybe I want to go somewhere else, go to a different country, or did you feel very fortunate to be in the US and to be a part of that American dream of the because America is still considered one of the best countries in the world to live in spite of what is said all over the world.
Hmm. I've always to go. I want to go and see a lot of different countries because I don't have any experience. I just want to go see it. I do feel fortunate um, to be here. Um, I mean, all the time that I've spent in Los Angeles and Anaheim and around the music industry, and um, running into all the people that we hear on the radio all the time, and and seeing them like at Starbucks, and things like that it's an interesting thing that and I feel fortunate because I'm in that industry, is that I there's no excuses for me as far as why can't you get something done as far as music is concerned, because I've got everything available. It's just a matter of talking and getting to know as many of the people as you can, and I think anybody can really do that. And now the way that the whole world is connected, if someone's really trying to do certain things and they want it to spread like wildfire, you know connect with the hotbed, connect with the people that are down there doing everything. Um, but I really do want to visit some other countries. I don't know that I'd want to live in any of them because I haven't experienced it firsthand. I know that more recently, it's been a real bummer being here because, especially because the homeless is out of control and their state's not not doing the right things about it. They're not treating it correctly, and so people aren't getting the right help that they need, you know, and so it's just made for kind of a mess here and there.
Yeah,
Um,
every country has
I'm
their
sure.
flaws,
Yeah.
but overall I feel like I felt really fortunate being having been educated in the States for part of my life, and it
Hmm.
has brought me here where I am, has taken me to different places. I went on to get my master's degree in education in Australia, and I don't think I would
Wow.
have been able to do as well if I hadn't studied in the US first, and then yeah, so
Hmm.
it has been a big deal for me. One of the things that I wanted you to give like a message to the students here in Norway, especially at the Institute of Higher Education where I teach. I teach up to 13th year. They have 13 years here. So the
Wow.
13th year is almost like is the equivalent to your first year at university.
Okay.
And they're beginning a program with music and drama at the school where I work right now. I'd like you to finish this up, giving them a message on what music has meant to you and what would you recommend for them to do? What would you say to them, the students starting the music program?
I'd say first of all, I'd be very excited that there's a program available like that, and especially if they're combining it with drama and everything. And it's such a great outlet for so many. And just to give it your all, just go in and don't be afraid of anything. I think that's the biggest thing, is when people hold themselves back when it comes to their musical abilities, um, worrying if something's going to sound bad or look bad or whatever. Just don't hold back, because that's all fixable. Like it's better to just put it all out there and then tidy it up rather than hold back, and because it's just, to me, there's nothing better than being able to express yourself musically, um, artistically. I think that's the core of being human to me. And if you're able to do that in a university or close to university level, I think that's such a gift. I I was I'm still amazed at how many music classes I was able to take just in high school. You know, I mean, I probably had 4 or 5 music classes a day because I had choir and band and all the different.
All right, so you had
Yeah,
choir and band.
yeah. I had choir,
Okay,
I had
cool.
marching band, I had orchestra, I had barbershop quartet, and jazz band. So yeah, I was able to do everything in there, and it never felt like school. It just felt like
Exactly. So I
fun.
think this is new for the Institute of Higher Education where I teach because they didn't have this before, and they
Mm,
were recruiting students. And I feel like some of them will be watching this, and we're at the moment recruiting students for a project that's going to start in the
hmm.
spring. And so I think there will
Sounds
be
really
a good
great.
inspiration for them.
Good.
Well, thank you so very much for doing this.
You're
It was
welcome.
worth it. It's 1:24 in the morning for me, but this
Oh my
is
god. Oh my gosh. I'm
yeah,
so
because of
sorry.
the time zone difference. But it's just like with the guest speakers that I've had, like I had somebody from Canada, somebody from Zimbabwe, somebody from different countries, so I have to adjust to people's time zones
Wow.
for it. So I have an educational channel on YouTube where this will be, and it will be like a premiere, and the kids will watch it together sometime in October when they start the chapter on the American Dream. So
Okay.
thank you very
Awesome.
much for doing
You're,
this.
yeah, you're very welcome. It was really good to
It's
talk to
been
you.
great catching up as well after 32 years.
I know. That's crazy. All
All
right.
right.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.